Episode 301, Ironman Canada with professional triathlete Kelsey Withrow. Welcome to the pursuit of the perfect race. I'm Coach Terry Wilson, and with each episode, I bring stories of athletes to you that share their experiences at races in order for you to learn how to have your perfect race. You'll hear stories from athletes of all ages, abilities, and races of all distances. So regardless of where you fit in, there's something in it for you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let the pursuit begin. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pursuit of the Perfect Race. Today I'm talking with Kona qualifier Kelsey Withrow, where she got her slot at Ironman Canada with a time of 9 hours, 38 minutes, and 28 seconds. The temperature on race day was 61 and rose to 75 degrees with a wetsuit legal swim for the pros. Welcome back to the show, Kelsey. I look forward to talking to you about your race.
Thank you for having me again, Terry.
You're welcome. This is exciting. You got your first slot to go to Kona, the Big Island, to race yourself.
I know, it almost doesn't even feel real yet. I just can't even believe it.
It's only been a few days. Let's just jump to the fun stuff of what was it like to actually get on the awards ceremony to get your slot?
Yeah, well, always, my goal is to either win or be on the podium. It's important to me, and it's a good goal. And I knew with the field that was at Ironman Canada, it was going to be pretty tough because I wasn't seeded to be in the top three. I was on probably nobody's picks, except for maybe my coaches and my families to be on the podium. The swim, we started pretty early, and the swim was fine, and the bike was so-so. And yeah, so I had to really bring it home on the run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So whenever you went to the, you were on the pro panel with Heather Wortell and a few of the other pros there. What was it like whenever you heard Heather say that she was going to decline her spot even if she got it?
I didn't know that. So, I know she's been to Kona a bunch, but when she said that, I was like, oh, that's great news for me. Because I know this is her type of course, and I know she hasn't raced a full in a long time, but I knew she would be probably the favorite to win.
Man. So, anyways, let's just talk about why you want to do this race versus Estonia, because originally you're a racer for both races, right?
Yeah. Well, I was planning on doing Estonia by looking at the start list. There are a few really good girls on it, but before the Ironman Canada list was just stacked. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to have to suck it up and travel across the world. And so probably about 2 weeks before, did I have 2 weeks? I had about 2 weeks, and I got an email asking to be on the pro panel for Ironman Canada. And I was like, oh man, that would be really cool. And then I just kind of thought about it more, and I'm like, I just feel like I should be at that race. And it turns out my parents could come and watch it. We found lodging. It was way cheaper to fly to for me. And so the logistics were a lot easier. And so, yeah, I just was like, I'm going to risk it and go there. I've had really good luck in Canada before. My parents were able to see my first win there in Victoria. So I was like, maybe they can be my lucky charm.
Yeah, man. Yeah. This is just going to be so exciting to actually talk through this race with you, because going to Kona is pretty awesome, but going as a pro and qualifying is even harder than age groupers. So it's exciting.
It's hard.
I'm super happy you got it, because I kind of know the backstory of what happened earlier this year. You've gotten other Ironmans, you've always missed about one slot.
Yeah.
And you were also running on an Alt G a few weeks ago.
I run on it all the time.
Yeah.
That's part of my training. Yeah. I am healthy. It's the first Ironman this year it's the first race this year where I've been healthy.
Man.
So, yeah.
Man, so I know your boyfriend coaches you still. So
yep.
How has this been going for you?
Him coaching me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's really good. He knows best. Yeah, we still get into it when when I think I should be doing something else. But it's good to have someone else look over what you're doing, because to me, like right now, I haven't worked out in a week. I would have been working out like a day after the race. So it's good to have someone kind of pull back the reins on you.
Wow. So going into this race, I know you built up to like 25, 28 hours of training, lots of long stuff. What was this like for you?
I love it. So I love, like, part of the reason why I like Ironman is just because it requires a lot of volume, I think. And so like I've like kind of stopped riding indoors so much and actually got to go outside. And I have a few friends that live kind of in the area where I would meet them for long rides. And that's been just so refreshing to me to like not have to be on the trainer for 5 hours and actually get to go outside. And, you know, it's just been really fun.
So you're getting to have fun out there with Caroline. Is that right?
Yeah, I've ridden with Caroline a couple times. But actually one of my another teammate, her name's Felicity Joyce. She's a Uber biker. She's been riding with me on Wednesdays, and that's usually our long ride day.
How does that work? A long ride in the middle of the week?
Well, when triathlon is your job.
you can just put that shit anywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I would ride Wednesdays, because one of the reasons why we chose Wednesday is because she works a lot during the week. And so Wednesday was her day. We could like go up to Napa and ride, and it's less busy.
All right. So, I mean, not to get into the specifics, but there's been a lot of accidents recently with bicyclists involved. And does that scare you at all?
Yeah, it sure does. Every time I get on the road, there's actually been a few like hit and runs here where people have been killed lately, like on roads that I ride on.
Wow.
And so that's also another reason why I like riding with people, is just I feel like you're a little bit more safe with riding with more than one person. Man. And also, yeah, so it's just it's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend that her name is Kitty. Her sister was just killed riding a bike.
Oh, geez.
Like, people I know, it's crazy. It's
not fair, but it is also, you know, a risk that we take knowing when we get on our bikes.
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's the truth.
Yeah. So, how have you been balancing life and work and spending enough time with the boyfriend with all this training?
Oh, I see him all the time. Like we're together all the time. I mean, yeah, it's not, I mean, triathlon is my number one job. It's pretty much, I live, breathe, and sleep triathlon.
Right.
But I wouldn't rather really have it any other way. I've always been like that.
That's awesome.
I guess I try to balance it with like maybe some barbecues, going to coffee with friends. But other than that, that's my number one focus.
Yeah. We didn't really get into it a lot when we talked last time, but how are you maintaining the volume of food and calories that you need on a day-to-day basis? Just like normal food, not like the mix that you drink on the bike.
Well, funny, like, maybe about a month ago before this last race, I wasn't eating enough, and I started to get like pretty light for me. And I could really I could tell on the bike that I was just losing power. And so I kind of freaked out and just started like gorging myself with food, and then it picked me up right away. So I'm back to being good. But for a little while, I mean, I was way too like emaciated, but I'm not that way anymore. Yeah. So I just have been like, I don't know if my body, but like freaked out and said, you need more food. And like, I've been hungry ever since. Like there's not enough food for me to eat.
So when we talked last time about the race down in Bariloche, you're at like 117?
Yeah. I mean, I got probably down to 114, which is way too small for me. Way too small.
That's just 3 pounds.
Yeah, but that's a lot when you only weigh 100 and something pounds. But I was losing muscle, and there's a difference. Like, I wasn't any leaner. I was just losing muscle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you normally eat on a day-to-day basis then?
Oh my gosh. Breakfast, I usually make these oatmeal, mashed banana, dark chocolate bars that you cook. It's really easy to make. And I've been like living off that. And let's see, I do a lot of protein and salad at night. I've been doing less carbohydrates at night. And that's actually helped me get a little bit leaner, because I used to just eat like breads and pizzas, and I've kind of toned down everything, but with still eating a lot.
So this oatmeal banana dark chocolate bar that you make, what is this?
It's so good. Okay, so you mash like 6 bananas. Okay, you can put a little MCT oil or coconut oil in it, a little bit of vanilla, and then you add like a crushed up dark chocolate bar, and then oatmeal, and then you mix it and put it in an oven for like 20 minutes, and then it's delicious. And
you have like 5 or 6 of those a day?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's big, like, but I'll be like eating it all throughout the day, and it doesn't upset my stomach, so it's good.
I'm gonna have to try that shit.
No, it's really good. I've gotten a lot of people on it. It's good.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
So going into this race, did you have any workouts that you wanted to make sure you hit to give you confidence for this race? I mean, because this race has like 8,000 feet of gain on the bike. It is nothing to overlook.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my strength is climbing. And so that's another reason why I wanted to come here instead of Estonia, is because like I didn't really know the course before I like actually like looked into it. And I'm like, 8,000 feet, that's awesome. Like it's actually pretty hilly around here. And that's where I seem to, that's my strengths are the hills. Like the downhills is that's another story. But the uphills, yeah, is where I like it.
How are you not good at descending?
Well, it's not that I'm not good at descending. It's, I chose to run some different gearing this race, and I was dropped actually on the downhill from Dee Dee and Heather.
Really?
And I just ran out of gears. Yeah. And it's like, we were going almost 40 miles an hour. But they were still able to pedal and I was not. And so I just watched them right away. So I was like, no, but yeah.
So what gearing did you use?
Well, I'm on a 1x system right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
do you like that?
I love it, because before, I was having a mechanical every race, and like, just packing my bike and the airlines tossing around my bike box. It just, every race I would have to go take it to tech support. Haven't had any mechanicals so far with it. Mm-hmm. And it's great. Like I don't like the jump that I had going from like big ring to small ring on climbs. And I don't have that weird feeling anymore. So like I can still.
On the front, what gear do you have up there, and what cassette do you have?
Let me check really quick, because I just hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Just gonna look. Someone just asked me that, and I wanted to make sure that I had. So I've got the equivalent of a 5236 or 1228. That's the equivalent.
Okay, but that's not what it actually is.
It's a 1x system. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can ask.
Yeah, because I just don't know. You don't have to worry too much about that, but it's just kind of odd because I've never interviewed anybody that does the 1x system. I think
a lot of people are going to it now, so like Rennie has it, Sebastian Kienle. There's a lot of people switching over to it.
But with your cadence and watts, is it impacted at all?
Well, only on the downhill, because I didn't have the right gearing, but the uphill was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it would have been fine for speeds at like 30 miles an hour. I would have been fine, but it was anything more than that is when I kind of ran into trouble.
Okay. Let's see here. You're still using your own nutrition that you make at home?
Yep.
Which is your maltodextrin mix with...
It's got all the things.
All the things.
Yeah, that's from Now Nutrition.
Okay. So I know you're using some things that help you recover. What's this like?
Well, I use the Hyperice, the Bolt, and I also use Normatec. Okay. And like the Hyperice Bolt is like a vibration therapy. So you can put it on it's like trigger therapy, muscle trigger therapy, and it's awesome. The vibration gets your muscles to relax a little bit quicker.
And they also have like the gun too, right?
Yeah, that's what it is basically.
Okay.
So I have like a little vibrating ball from them and then like the little gun, and it's nice and quiet. It's not loud.
I have the ball.
The ball's awesome. I just used it on my calves. Just airport security gives you weird looks.
They're like, what is
the Volt?
What is this thing?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty funny.
Man. So, you're running, you built up to a 3-hour long run on a trail. What was this like?
Yeah. Yeah, I did a couple long trail runs, so I made sure it was on like soft surface. And yeah, I just wanted to get the time in running. My body does best with not a lot of impact. And I was totally fine on those 3-hour runs. I did a couple of them. I don't think that's something you need to do all the time, but for me, mentally, it was important. And just to let me know I could run that long.
Right.
Because up into the first Ironman, I wasn't really training for Ironman because I was training for those 270.3s I did before. So I had about a month of long rides. Yeah. So
now, I mean, not to get too off track, but down in I almost said Arizona, but it's Australia. You had a 3:11 run with an extra mile run.
Yeah.
What happened?
Always the long runs, but that's my favorite run course ever. It's just a little bit long because it's 4 loops. And that's just how it ends, but it's actually one of my favorite runs.
All right. So you're going to go back next year?
Yeah, I will for sure. Next year will be my 3rd year going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a really fun course. The run is really fun.
Man. So, now just to shift gears and talk more about this race, you basically made up your mind 2-3 weeks out to do Canada versus Estonia. When did you actually start planning the logistics for this? Because you still have to get plane tickets. You still have to get a rental car.
Pretty much. It was a Wednesday a couple of weeks before. I think it was like 2 weeks before. And I was like, okay, it's a sign. I'm doing it. And then so I went and got my plane ticket was like $300 to Vancouver. My parents were going to drive up because they're from Seattle. So it just worked out perfectly.
Oh, so you didn't even need to get a rental car?
No, my parents drove.
That's awesome. That's like cheap. Yes.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot cheaper than it would have been if I would have gone to Estonia.
Yeah. So you get up to Whistler. What was your first impression of this atmosphere there?
I love Whistler. I've been a couple times. I went once for skiing a really long time ago. I think that's where I tried to learn to ski. And then I went once in the summer. So, I mean, it was still like brand new to me. I was pretty interested in like the mountain bike parks there and the trails, which I hear is like the best in the world. So it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. So where did y'all get a place to stay at in relationship to the venue?
Right. Like less than a half a mile from the finish line in T2.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was an Airbnb, and it just happened to be like the last one when I went to go book it. So I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, nothing to really worry about there.
Yeah.
So pro panel, this was your first pro panel be on? What was this like for you?
No, I've been on, usually overseas I'm on them.
Oh, okay.
But like in a big race with like a field like that, that's my first like legit one on a big main stage. It was like, it wasn't intimidating, but it was just cool to be on the stage with really good athletes.
Yeah. So what all did they ask up there?
They asked like what our goals were coming into the race, what we thought our strengths were, any advice we can give to other people on the race and how to race Ironman, and nutrition.
If you don't have nutrition nailed down that close to a race, something's wrong.
Well, but you get a lot of beginners that just don't know. Maybe they don't have a coach to tell them that, or, it's like their first one and like stuff can go wrong, and it usually does. So, I mean, you don't really know what your stomach's going to do on race day.
Man. So, you get all checked in, you do the pro panel. How was your mindset with this race?
I just felt really good and confident. And it's just weird because I didn't really feel as confident for Estonia, but something I don't know what it was, but I just felt calm, which is unusual for me to feel that calm going into a race, even though I knew there's like 21 girls or 22 girls signed up a lot of them were really, really good.
Did you have an idea of who would probably be the ones that you were going to be throwing down with?
Yeah, like the top 8 girls were the ones that I knew of, and there's other girls too. A lot of people had their first pro race, and you just never know. Any one of those girls.
Yeah, because I know Heather was there, Jen was there, Dee Dee, Jody was there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good
caliber A lot of good
people.
Girls.
Yeah, a lot of good girls.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know Angela DNF'd. I'm not sure what happened there.
That sucks. She actually crashed on her bike.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but she's now in Estonia, so hopefully she can get her spot there.
What? Gosh, I didn't realize she was going to travel so much.
Yeah. But so good group of girls for sure.
So the day before the race here, you get your bike checked in. This is a 2 transition race, so it's a little bit of a logistics here to work that out because you have to take your shuttle over there.
Everything is so close. Everything is so close. All we did was like ride our bikes over to T1, drop off our stuff, and then take a shuttle that took like 10 minutes back. Really easy.
Okay, so it's not anything like Santa Rosa.
No, way easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you couldn't leave anything really on your bike as far as nutrition.
Yeah, that was the one thing and actually I messed up a little bit, is you weren't allowed to keep any of your food in your bags or on your bike is because of the bears. And it's so funny because I really wanted to see a bear, but I didn't. But my parents got a video of a bear in T2 just hanging out a couple days before the race, just sitting there eating. So they do have a problem with bears there.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah,
I got nothing to even compare that to other than I saw a wild
I don't think
hog.
It's scary. They were really cute. They're black bears, harmless.
Yeah, they just like to cuddle. That's it.
They just like their food. That's all.
They want to hug and cuddle.
Yeah, that's what I think when I see a bear.
So, from a nutrition standpoint, are you trying to get a certain breakfast, lunch, and dinner in?
I try to do the same thing as I do in training as I do for racing. That way, I can limit the gut problems. So yeah, all week I was having my normal either salmon or chicken salad. I had pizza one night. And I didn't have any issues.
Okay. Now you got a pre-race swim in up there. What was this like?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the biggest amateur ever. I got there to the swim center and forgot my swim goggles and caps and had to ask someone if I could borrow some stuff. That was awesome. I looked like it was probably my first race.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing up here. I'm just hanging out.
Oh, man. Yeah, so some nice girls gave me some stuff to wear. Yeah. But yeah, I checked it out. It was nice. It was a little cold to get in, but not bad.
So, anyways, the day before the race, you're probably trying to go to sleep at a certain time. How was your nerves? Still pretty calm?
Yeah, I mean, you always get a little nervous, but I was definitely less nervous for this race. And I think it's because I was probably more prepared. So
you had a lot more confidence because of your training?
Yeah.
Or just
I had a good training block in there, and I was actually training for an Ironman.
Okay. Now, do you think it's just because you're training for Ironman, or you had some other Ironmans on your belt? Because this is on your second year doing Ironman.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still learning a lot. But I feel like I did some really good training leading up to this race that gave me some confidence. And it's not like I had a bad race in Australia.
You had a solid race.
Yeah. I mean, it was I put together a really good run, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been a 306.
Yeah. That's pretty good for me.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I would take a 306.
Yeah. I think a lot of people might.
Yeah. I mean,
I just need to bike a lot faster.
Yeah. But, I think that race, if I remember right, Laura Siddle won that race.
Yep, Laura. I think she's a 3-peat there.
Yeah.
One day, I'm coming for her. Next year.
Next year.
I'm coming for you, Laura.
So, going into this race, you go to bed, but this is a 5:50 a.m. start time. So
yeah,
you
that's
gotta
early.
wake up a little bit earlier to get your pot of coffee in before you get going.
Yep.
What was your morning ritual like here?
Woke up at 3 a.m., got my parents up too because they were so nice to stay on the pull-out couch while I got the bedroom. So they got up with me. And then just took the shuttle over there and then started.
So did you have to drop your run bag off the morning of?
The nutrition.
Okay.
So I had to go back into T2, drop off my nutrition. And then get on the shuttle.
Are you using special needs at all?
Funny story. Well, we can get there when we can talk about the run.
Okay. Okay. Special needs.
It's actually not really that funny.
You're making it out to sound very funny already. So I don't know.
It's not really that funny. I just ran out of my nutrition, my gel, and never saw the special needs. But it was because my parents were standing there and where the special needs were. And so I wasn't paying attention to the special needs. I was trying to get splits from my parents. So I missed it twice. And so then I had the whole second lap, I had to have Coke and Red Bull because I had no more gels left.
Gosh.
Another rookie mistake.
Man. So you get everything ready at T2, then head over to the swim start. About what time do you head over there get over there to the swim start and T1?
4:30 a.m.
So
is when I took the shuttle.
Over an hour before your start time.
Yeah, normally I'm at the actual start earlier than that, but that was the first shuttle.
Okay.
So yeah, early.
So you're just over there making sure everything's good, then just hanging out.
Yep. Just there wasn't a lot of time. I had to get my bike just ready, nutrition ready, and then get my wetsuit on. And that takes a little bit of time. Yeah. So didn't have a lot of time for sitting around.
So walk me through what your nutrition plan is on the bike. It's kind of
every 20 minutes. I have a timer on my watch and it goes off every 20 minutes to remind me to take my big sip. And it's about every 20 minutes, about 100 calories. So yeah, it's pretty good. So, I didn't have any I wasn't bonking at all.
And this has all your electrolytes, all your caffeine, everything in there.
Yep. Yeah.
Man, so you're almost like me because I like the all liquid thing. Just keep it simple. Drink water.
It's new for me. Yeah. Normally I'll do the honey stinger waffles in the beginning, but I forgot in the morning to put them in my bag. So we just went ahead and did all liquid calories.
Man. So you leave transition. How much PSI are you putting in your wheels here?
90.
90?
I always do around 90.
Okay. Now, do you have an idea of what the quality of the road is like here?
Yeah, I went out and rode it. And it's some of it's a little bumpy, but I like how 90 felt.
Okay. Now, with this race, you have your eyes at doing your best and really trying to get as high up as you can, but did you have an idea that you wanted to get third at least for a Kona slot?
Yeah, well, I knew that I really needed top two, basically, because there was only 2 slots. And so I knew it was going to be really hard to get. And, that was a goal, but I just didn't know if it was really possible because I knew there were other girls, but it is an Ironman. And so anything can happen.
A lot can happen.
Yeah, a lot can happen.
And you got to be ready to start calling audibles halfway through.
Yeah.
And so with the atmosphere down at the swim start, what's this like with all the other pros down there?
This was a race where there was actually a lot of female pros. And I'm in the, I'm used to doing races with smaller fields. So yeah, it was great.
Okay. Were y'all joking, hanging out, or was this just focused?
Not really. It was so early in the morning that I'm like, let's just start this race.
Okay.
Let's just get it started. It's 5 in the morning, 5:50 a.m. I'm still I'm still sleeping.
So the gun goes off. How does the swim go for you?
The swim was average for me.
You got first out of the water, and it's just average.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I swam really fast for me, but I just tried not to use my legs and just kind of, as long as I was going to come out first out of the water. I mean, that was the main goal. I thought it was Dee Dee on my feet on the swim, but it was actually Heather. So Heather had a great swim. But yeah, another thing that I should have done and made another mistake was, I didn't really know the swim course before. I thought the swim was, 1 lap instead of 2. And so when we came around the second lap, I didn't really know where to go. Like, we were following a lead paddler, and I asked him, like, cause I was kind of screamed at him, like, can you lead me into the finish? Cause I couldn't see. And he was turned. And so it was like he was turning to go for another lap. And then, so I saw Heather, which I thought was Dee Dee, like way on the outside swimming in. And so I just like put my head down and just sprinted to try and get first out of the water. I was going to be really mad because that would have been my own fault.
Man.
So, you should know the course.
Yes. Know the course.
Bottom line, know the course. She knows it. She's done it. I should have done my research more. So
whenever you had this little bit of a confusion, you get back in the water, how does the rest of the swim go? Because you have another.
Oh, no. No. So that was the second lap of the swim. So we were finishing. On the first lap, I was like, God, are we done already? And then I look at my watch and it says like 22 minutes. And I was like, oh, we still have another lap.
Okay.
So that's where that confusion was.
Okay. So whenever you get done with the swim, it's a very quick transition here. You don't really have that long to go, but you also have to take your own wetsuit off.
Yep. That's pretty normal, I think. I don't think I've ever had a wetsuit stripper before. But yeah, so I chose this swim to swim with my race kit sleeves down, which with my kit, I don't normally have to, but I was like, I just might as well, just to give my arms and neck a little break. So I was able to put my kit on pretty fast. It's really easy to do that. And then, I couldn't, when in the transition tent, the change tent, somehow my visor got pushed all the way out. So I had to my visor is already broken on tape. So I had to re-put it on. And so Heather passed me in the tent. And so she came out onto the bike first.
So you got passed in transition?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But then we started together. She couldn't get on her bike very quickly because I think it was so cold. Like, she's fumbling to get her feet on her bike. So then we were even.
Yeah. So you get out on the bike. You're only in transition for 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Then you're out. Yeah. You're out and about on the bike. How does the first 10 miles go?
The first 10 miles were, I thought, pretty. I rode behind Heather, 12 meters back. We had an official with us the whole time, so I had to make sure I kept my distance. But I felt great. Like, my watts were lower than I was planning on it that first bit, but I'm like, well, I'm just going to race the race, if I can stay with Heather. Right. So it was about 20, so we had to go, it was 12 miles or so to the top, to the turn off where the climb is. And then it's a really nice long climb. I think it's 6 miles all the way up to the top. It goes up to the ski jumps or something, somewhere bobsledding. Right. And then, so it was Heather, me, and then Dee Dee to the top. And then as soon as the downhill started, I got dropped.
Whenever you think about, I'm going to try to back up a little bit. Whenever you think about having to stay 12 meters back, how are you visually seeing this? Because you don't want to get too close. I just try to go with
I kind of actually check a lot of the time with officials. Am I okay? Because it's really hard to tell when you're riding behind someone, what actual 12 meters is. So I always kind of make contact with the race officials on the bike. And I kind of try and go off the lines on the road. But yeah, it's hard to tell what 12 meters is.
Right. Now around kilometer, I could get this wrong, but I think it's like kilometer 35-ish, somewhere in that range, which would be like 19, 20 miles. There's like a very sharp right turn that you kind of go back on yourself, and then you have to go down there to the turnaround and then do that again.
Yeah.
How is this? Because that's kind of technical, right?
I like technical courses. I come from bike racing, so that's like an advantage to me, like the fast, quick turns. But I did struggle because from the top of that Callahan climb to the actual far out turnaround is a lot of it was fast downhill, and it's where speeds up to around 40 miles an hour, and I didn't have enough gearing for that. But so I was like, okay, I'm going to lose time on this section, but on the way back, it's pretty much all uphill. So I made sure to really work the climbs on the way back.
Okay. With the bike course here, this is a lot of climbing. I know you're using a one-by system, but how are you holding up mentally with this? Because you could have really just gone into this negative headspace of, I don't have the right gearing, I'm just not even going to try today, but you're overcoming.
Oh, that's not an option.
Yeah, like that's not an option for you, but that option is easily there for so many people.
Yeah.
How do you not even consider that?
Well, I knew that I'm like, yes, this sucks, but what am I going to do about it? I just do the best I can. And then the parts where I know I can pedal strong, I got to make sure I take advantage of that, because anything can happen.
Right.
And I've like been the first to, not the first, but I've seen it in my Ironmans that, you know, you just got to keep fighting till the end because anything can happen.
Man. So mentally, you don't even consider that an option because you know that, hey, something can happen ahead of me, and then all of a sudden I'm next.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, you don't know. And it's a race, like things happen, and you just got to keep fighting. It's not like it slowed me down that much. Right. I would say maybe just a couple minutes. Like, you know, I'm still able to pedal 90% of the course, right, or 95% of the course.
Okay.
It's just a lesson learned, you know?
Right. Did you and your boyfriend / coach talk about this course and how to execute this from like a power plan or a strategic plan, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I knew like for every Ironman, like I have a certain wattage that, you know, if I can hold it, then I will bike a pretty fast time. So that's what I aim for.
Okay. Is that like a normalized power, or is that based off your FTP? What's this like?
Just basically we kind of, maybe a little bit off my FTP, but what I can do in training basically, or like we kind of figured out I need to hold this wattage for me to bike under 5 hours.
And that's the goal, is to get under 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically for me, maybe not on the Whistler course, but on a lot of courses, I would need to hold 185 watts.
Wow. So that's almost 1.6 per pound of body weight? I mean, that's just
1.6.
That's like rough math.
I think it's like 3.45 watts per kilogram.
Yeah.
I think. Something like that. I don't know.
I still got the kilogram conversion and the kilometer conversion, so I just try to wing that part. I just try to do pounds. Yeah. On this bike course, how are the hills for you? Being that you're a hill climber, how was it for you? You loved it? It
was good. I mean, it was hard, and I really wanted to be off my bike at like 90 miles. I was like, okay, I'm ready to be off now. But I think everyone kind of thinks that. It's a long race.
Right. Did you use special needs on the bike?
No, I don't usually.
Okay.
Because I had an extra bottle full of my nutrition in the back as well, just in case.
Do you throw away that bottle whenever it's empty?
No, because it's full of It's like full of like 1,200 calories.
No.
So I only do it.
That you. Sorry. So you only have one bottle.
Well, I have my nutrition on my down tube there, And then I have another bottle in the back. So when I'm done with the one on my front, I can go to the back.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, how does that work? So this is almost like a triangle type course, like a flux capacitor almost, and you have to do the whole thing twice, except for leaving Alta Lake. What was the most challenging part of the bike ride for you?
The downhills. Really, is like just trying to not lose so much time, because I'm pretty sure like the girls behind me were riding faster downhill as well.
Right.
So I just had to really try and like tuck and get aero and try to ride my little heart out.
Because at some point Heather passes you pretty early on, and then
she passed. Heather was always in front of me on the bike, and Dee Dee passed me at the top of Callahan Climb coming down. She passed me, and then so I know Jen Annette was behind me, and Mel McQuaid. Those were the two closest ones, and Jody. But I knew like Jen didn't start making up a lot of time on me until the second lap. And I was probably, she made up about 4 minutes on me in the last 25 miles. Whoopsie.
Okay. As far as the bike ride goes, what's some advice that you tell someone who hasn't done this course before?
Well, this is the last year that they're having it at Whistler. So there will be no more Ironmans here. Unfortunately. Yeah, so it's going to Penticton. But, just make sure you know the course. Find ways to help mimic it. I've done a lot of like hills with a lot of rides with lots of climbing in it to try and like mimic how I'm going to feel.
Right. Is that what you try to do in San Francisco with Napa Valley, is do the distance and the hills at the same time?
Yeah, there's one, I haven't done a ride yet with 8,000 feet of climbing in it. But I've done one with, I think, a 5-hour with 7,000 feet in there. And I love that kind of thing. More climbing, the better for me.
That's tough.
Yeah, I like it, though. Yeah, it's tough, but it's tough for everyone.
Yeah. So whenever you get to mile 90, you already want to get off the bike. You hit 100, and you're getting closer to getting off the bike, but you still have about 15, 20 minutes left. How does this go for you?
Well, Jen Annette passed me with like 6 miles to go.
Oh.
And I tried to stay with her, and I was like, oh my God, just trying to like, maybe it was 6 miles. Maybe it was 4 miles, because we came into transition about the same time. She got in there a little bit before me. But yeah, she like really put the hurt on me, because I was like done with riding my bike. It's like, please get me off of the bike now.
Right. And the last like mile and a half, 2 miles is when you get off the highway and kind of go into town and go to Olympic Plaza. These are some twisty turny roads here.
Loved it.
So that went well for you?
Yeah. That's like right up my alley. I like the tight corners, and I don't really need to slow up for them that much, but I like courses like that.
Okay. So you get off the bike. You're in T2 for 2.5 minutes or so, or 2:38. How does T2 go for you?
T2 is always a little bit of a struggle for me, only because I choose to put on like long compression socks. It saves my calves, basically. My calves are usually the first thing to go when I'm running. And ever since I started using like the really long compression socks, I haven't had any issues. So I make sure to put those on, but I do lose a couple minutes. Like in Australia at Port Macquarie, I lost to Caroline Steffen by 90 seconds, and her transition was 90 seconds longer than me.
Oh, no.
I know. So like, you don't know it at the time, but I'm like, if I just would have had my transition a little bit faster, maybe things could have been different.
Man.
But it's really hard to put on compression socks when you're tired and your feet are about ready to cramp. It is an art.
Like rolling them only goes so far.
Yeah.
Like you can roll all you want to, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Man. So you get out on the run course. How does the first mile of the run course go? This is when you're coming out of transition and heading out to go. You do like this twisty turn before you go out to the main drag of the loop, right?
It's fun because that is like that area is like just filled with people. And so, yeah, my legs didn't feel bad when I got off the bike. Okay. So I'm like, they didn't feel heavy like the last Ironman I did. That they felt awful that time, but this time, I just felt pretty good. And then we started going uphill. It was a hard run course.
How are the first few uphills here?
Well, so you're running uphill on cement, and then you go off into the trails, and it's like steep up and steep down for a couple miles. So that was like an interesting thing for an Ironman. I didn't really know how my legs would take it, but it's a good thing I started doing trail running because my quads didn't hurt till after the race.
That's good.
Yeah.
With this, did you have an idea of where you were in the field on the run course?
Yeah. So, Jen was started about 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes before me on the run. So I could see her in the first turnaround, and that was the only person I saw ahead of me. The second turnaround, like out in the backside of the course, I got to see where Heather was. I got to see where Dee Dee was. And I mean, they were way out there. I was worried. I was going to try and catch Jen, but she just was having an awesome run. So she was making it hard. And then, I had to watch out for the people behind me as well.
Okay. So you didn't really know who was behind you or how far?
I saw Jody Robertson was looking pretty strong. And I know she's a really good runner. She's thrown down some good marathons. So honestly, I was more concerned with who was in front of me.
Okay.
Because I know the top three, I was in fourth, and I knew Heather was in the first. I'm like, one of those or two of those spots is Kona. So I basically had to get top three for a Kona slot.
Right. So now you're notorious for, if anybody's been following you for any length of time, you're notorious for actually turning your visor around and just doing work. Like, that's your look. When did you turn it around and just like if you have your visor on backwards, right, you are it's work time.
It must be in transition because that's where I started. I like it backwards because it works. Someone asked me at the pro panel about this. So the sweatband part acts as a sweatband. It blocks kind of the sun off my forehead, and the back part, like the bill, it makes it so my hair doesn't like sway back and forth and get all knotted. So it works perfectly. I have less knots and no sunburn.
Jeez. So after the first 4 or 5 miles, you're done with most of the uphills for a little bit, and it's all downhill for 4 miles. How was this?
It didn't really feel like downhill. It may have been like a slight downhill. But not anything where I would say, oh, my legs hurt, this is downhill. I'd never really noticed that. I just mainly noticed the hills and the trails is where I noticed that the most.
All right. So, to fast forward a little bit here, when do you actually make your first pass of anybody?
Not until 5 miles to go.
Oh, wow. So you're going this whole run in the same spot, and then finally you make a pass 5 miles
Well,
away.
I knew, so someone yelled at me around 13 miles. They said, Dee Dee has 10 minutes on you. And I knew that she was way farther than that at the start of the run. So I knew I was gaining on her, but I'm trying to do the math. I'm like, do I think that I can run 10 minutes faster than her for 13 miles? And I was starting to really fade. As my legs were just kind of done. And so basically, I started getting splits from people on the course saying I was running 40 seconds maybe faster at K than Dee Dee, and that maybe I could possibly catch her. And so I just like, I was gritting my teeth the whole way because I felt awful. I was like turning myself inside out, and I wasn't even running really fast, but I mean, that was like as hard as I could go at that moment. And when I saw her at the last turnaround before you head back in, I knew I was going to catch her, but I just didn't know if I could keep it because you just never know.
Right. Because if you don't pass somebody strong enough, they'll go, oh yeah, I can pass them back. That's no big deal. Yeah. I mean, I knew like just by with how much I was gaining on her that she probably wouldn't, but I worried about me cracking. And what if, I cracked 3 miles from the finish and, I got caught by people behind me. Is that like a scary feeling for you to know that you are on the verge of cracking and then the whole time, like you can literally feel yourself like I am one bad surge away from walking and there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I wasn't really like, I've been there definitely. This time it wasn't to the point where I thought I would have to walk, but you just never know. Like I could cramp or anything like that. You just never know. I mean, we saw what happened to Sarah True in Frankfurt, which was heartbreaking. And I'm like, okay, don't get too cocky. You have 5 more miles of running. So yeah, I mean, I just tried to keep it together. I took in fluids at every station, Coke, Red Bull, because I didn't have any more gel. So, wow. Yeah. But so now if we kind of take this into consideration, you had also overlooked your special needs on the run, so you had to use plan B of your run nutrition. Yeah. And I mean, I know and usually in the final miles of an Ironman, I'll do Coke or Red Bull at the stations just because anything besides gel, I mean, I was taking gels every 20 to 30 minutes on the run. But then I used all of it, and I just didn't see the special needs because my parents were standing right next to it. And so I was focused on them rather than the special needs. I was like, where is the special needs? I have no idea. And yeah, that was my bad. Right. So I know you use a Suunto watch, your own team Suunto. How do you like this watch? Like I love it. It's a damn touch screen watch. Yeah. Who doesn't want a touch screen? But more importantly, I really like the battery life. I can rely on having it last for a 9-hour race, which any of my previous watches, it's nerve wracking that I've only done an Ironman with a Suunto, but my halves, I even have problems with battery life. But not this one. Yeah. I mean, I think I saw a thing with Cody Bills or Sam Long. Like, oh, yeah. Cody is a Suunto as well. Yeah. And it was like, I can make it last for like 48 hours of active use time. It's like, good God. Yeah. And there's settings where there's performance setting, and then there's 2 other settings. So your watch will know like that you're running out of battery. It will automatically save. Like it will automatically make it so you can last the whole activity. It's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. Yeah. So no matter what, basically your watch will track that activity. Man. And it's automatically going to save it no matter what. So that's kind of nice. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. So as far as the run goes, what's some advice that you give somebody that's going to do an Ironman in the future that's never experienced what it's like to turn themselves inside out on a run like this? I feel like it's really hard for people to do that. I think it's a small percentage of people that can actually put themselves in that kind of hurt. But I guess that's why we are professionals, and we do this for a living. But yeah, running a marathon is long and it's hard for everyone. Nutrition on the bike is really going to be your key for having a good marathon. The way you ride your bike is going to have an effect on your marathon. Are you talking about position here? No, more nutrition. Okay. Like nutrition, hydration, that will greatly affect your marathon on the bike. So. Because, I mean, I know if you're in a bad position, like, you're going to have back pain. That's not going to help. Oh, yeah. Also, yeah, that's also huge as well. But, yeah, I mean, you're going to want to have a good bike fit. Because if you're stuck in a crappy aero position, getting off and trying to run is going to mess up your back. Right. So if we take a look at the last 2 miles here, you're in the lead, or at least you're not in the lead. You're ahead of Dee Dee, which is going to put you in the third place here. And you kind of have an idea that's going to give you a slot for Kona. What was this like?
I was like actually like the whole last 13 miles, I was getting chills because I'm like, this is what I trained for. This could be it, you know, like I could actually get my slot. And I thought, I'm like, so I've had experience in races where, you know, I may not be having the best swim or bike and I'm kind of far down, but I'm like, if you just stay tough and like keep fighting that whole time and not give an inch, then something good is going to come out of it. And that's what I kept thinking in this race on the run. I'm like, yeah, I'm in fourth place, but usually when I stick it out and I'm giving everything I have, like something good leads to it. And, you know, it would have been bittersweet kind of to get fourth. Like, you know, it's still a good result, but I really, really wanted to get my Kona slot. And I really wanted to podium.
Yes. So the finish line here, like after the turnaround, after that point in the split where you go to the second loop or go to the finish line, you still have about a kilometer left.
Oh my gosh. It was like more than a kilometer because I was like, okay, where is the finish? We were doing like loops around the village.
Yeah.
Like, where is the finish? But yeah, it felt like a long time.
So, whenever you get to where you can see the red carpet and you make that final turn and you can see the finish line, what's this experience like for you? Because now you know that it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't think I smiled until I hit basically. So I don't know if you've heard the IRONMAN podcast, they're covering it. They were like right at the start of the red carpet. And so they yelled my name and that's when I could like enjoy it and like giving high fives, running down and then having my parents there. That was pretty cool. Like I was trying to like replay or figure out what I would do at the finish. Like I wanted to just get on my knees and just think I don't even know who I would think, but I was just so happy.
Gosh. So, you finished and Lisa Bentley was there to greet you at the finish line.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too, because I've been following her when I first started the sport. So it was like a pleasant surprise when I'm like, oh, she's giving me my medal.
Yeah. I got to meet her at Mont Tremblant earlier this year.
Yeah, she's a legend.
Yeah,
a true legend.
So after you finished, I mean, that's where the iconic picture of you finishing with this wide smile on your face of like, oh my gosh, I'm over. I don't have to dig anymore.
Yeah.
What was this like for you afterwards? I mean, this is like your own cloud nine, at least.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it felt like. I'm like, I just can't believe I put it all together. Like it may have not been my best race, but I did what I needed to do. You know, I checked off 2 goals. And it's always good when you can do that. Yeah. And just having my parents there, you know, to see that too, because they were in Victoria with my first win. So that it was cool. They couldn't believe it either. They didn't expect it.
This is so awesome. Like I can only imagine the emotions that you were feeling at this point, because it's like, you did it. Like the hard work paid off.
Yeah, it did. And I feel like with my story, it just goes to show you, you know, like gotta put in the work. I've put in the work for so many years, and then it's finally like starting to pay off these last couple of years. Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of give people a better understanding, like there's a lot more to your story than what we've even talked about.
Yeah.
I think there for a while you had depression that you went through, and
oh yeah, but that was because of an accident. So, you know, the getting hit by a truck and like being told I was never going to be able to race again, and you know, that's what kind of put me into a depression of like having my identity stripped from me, or what I thought was my identity.
And now you're here going to Kona.
Yeah, I mean, I went from, I think, 2015 of getting last in every 70.3 I did to, you know, having my first professional wins to Kona, you know, after being mangled by a truck. So, yeah, to me, yeah, it's just pretty cool.
Yeah. So here we are, the Friday after the race. Since then, I know you haven't been working out or anything.
No, it's driving me crazy. Yeah.
I've been following you here. So you're just in the gym lifting, doing some box jumps with weights and fun stuff.
That's the only thing I'm allowed to do is lift right now. Even though I feel really, really good, like the idea behind it is to give the heart some recovery. You know, the muscles recover a lot quicker than the heart muscle does. So we're making sure that is healed and recovered before I jump into training again, because I have some big races coming up.
Big races? You have
races.
Yeah, but that's with an S, because you're doing Kona, but then before then you also have something else on the plan, right?
Yeah, I'm. It's looking like I will be doing Ironman Wisconsin.
Why? Like, you already have your slot.
Yeah, well, so Kona, well, here's the thing. Like, I do this for my job, my living. I can't afford to not race for a couple months. And then getting money at Kona is a big, you know, you can only get top 10, and that's going to be really hard. So I have a good chance of doing really well at Ironman Wisconsin. And potentially I could get my Kona slot for next year. So this is the first race for 2020 Kona.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So, looking back on just Ironman Canada here, what's something that you learned about yourself through this race experience?
I wouldn't say it's just reinforcing that being tough and just fighting through things when you feel like crap, you know, that has proved to me every single time that if I've just stuck in it out, then something good will happen.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, and I should really learn the courses before I do them.
Are you going to look at the Wisconsin course?
Yeah, I already have. Already started.
Man.
And you know, that's like something that I should have learned years ago. But it's like, you know, I've gone off course in some races like before, you know, when I was younger. And like, yeah, you should know everything. If this is your job, you really should know everything about that race before you do it.
Man. Well, Kelsey, I know what you're doing next. What's after Kona? Do you have any idea of what you're doing later this season?
We're gonna see how Kona goes, but usually I will race till November, November or December. So
that would just be 70.3s.
Maybe not. Seems like it's the year of the Ironman, and yeah, people might be like, "Oh, that's so many Ironmans," but hey, it's my job, and I get to I recover. I'm forced to recover after these, so I can, you know, not be overtrained.
But mentally,
I think that's the hard part. Like, my coach and I kind of got into it. Like, he asked me what I wanted to do a day after the race. And he's like, well, what about Ironman Wisconsin? I was like, are you kidding me? Another Ironman? I couldn't even like fathom that, because I was still like scarred from, you know, Ironman Canada. But now, since I've given it a few days, I'm like, okay, I can see myself doing that.
Man. So, we covered a lot about your race here. Anything else you want to
add? No. I think we hit everything, unless you can think of anything.
That's all I got for Canada. You've done a lot of races, and now you're going to get to go to Kona. What are the races that are on your bucket list now?
Roth. I want to do Challenge Roth one day.
Yeah?
Yep. That's on the list.
So next year you're going to do Roth?
I don't know about next year, but one of these years I will.
Man. So, being I already know what your definition of a perfect race is, the next question is, in order of importance for you, how would you rank the following? Mental grit, nutrition, and fitness.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, nutrition is number one, because without nutrition, I mean, there's just no physical way you're going to get through an Ironman. What were the other two?
Mental grit and fitness.
Mental grit and then fitness.
Why would you put those there?
Because I think a lot of people are fit that do these, and not everyone is, not everyone has the grit. A lot of people give up, or maybe just let off the gas a little bit.
All right.
So I think with races like this, you need it. You need the grit.
Because if you would have let off the gas even a little bit.
Yep. Which I wanted to. It's like you want to get to that comfortable spot when you're racing. And I knew that if I were to just, jog it in, then I probably would have been passed by people behind me and I wouldn't have got my Kona slot. So I'm like, well, what is another 90 minutes of feeling like you're going to die? Just 90 minutes. So I was just trying to go back to workouts where I've been, working out for 90 minutes. Like I've thought about when I had an hour left, I thought of an hour run I had with a teammate. I'm like, okay. So that's how I was kind of processing it while I was racing.
And then the last 2 miles, like, okay, I have 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
I'm like, okay, this really shouldn't be that hard, but it is.
Jeez. So, post-race meal, what race?
I had a burger and fries. That was delicious.
No milkshake?
No sweet stuff. Ew. Yeah, no, I wanted salt.
Man. Well, Kelsey, I really appreciate your time today. I've enjoyed this, and I wish you the best at Wisconsin and Kona.
Thank you so much.
I would love to have you back on after Kona this year to hear about your first experience at Kona. Like, how awesome would that be?
Yeah. It should be really fun. My parents are going to go see that one too. So I've got, and the coach is going to come too. So that'll be the first race he's.
Coach or boyfriend? I mean.
Well, it's both, but what do you say? What do you say? I don't even know.
Good. That's a good point. Because I got
nothing. A man of many talents.
Yes. Well, best of luck. Send me some pictures so that way I can post this up on Instagram for you, give you some shout outs. And if you ever need anything, be sure and let me know, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Terry.
You're welcome. Have a good day, okay?
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you were able to learn something from today's episode. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to leave a review on iTunes or share it with a friend. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to see pictures from this athlete's race, learn more about who I am, what I'm doing, or be on the show yourself to share your story, check out my website at CoachTerryWilson.com. Until next time, continue the pursuit.